This is the Transcend in Life podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson, taking you from fear to freedom.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Transcend in Life. We are back for another Tuesday tune-up, and I have my lovely wife. She's all dressed up today. Lise, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm good. Why are you so dressed up in this pandemic as I sit in my PJs?
Which is really funny because dressing up to JM is literally a t-shirt dress and a jean jacket and a little makeup and hair. I'm actually going to lunch with the admins. So the principals of the schools that I've had relationships with over the last 6 years, they're taking me out to lunch before we move.
Very cool. Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Have fun. Today we are talking, as you know, core values are so important. To me, it's something that I drive home probably ad nauseum for most people, specific to core values within the business, but also core values with our family. So we do have a core value board that you decided to say, okay, not only are we going to do core values, but we're going to make a whole collage wall thing out of it. So what are our core values?
It's courage, fun, and love.
And what is the collage? I guess we'll get to courage, fun, and love in a second, but what is the collage?
So it's a picture collage, and I may have gotten a little carried away with mixed tiles. And so for those of you who don't know what mixed tiles are, there are these little picture things that you can get, and they basically just stick to your wall. Well, it's probably been almost a year now, they were on sale. So I went on there and it's really easy. And you just click on all the pictures that you want. And I picked all the fun adventures that we've had as a family together. There's a picture of my son playing baseball. There's a picture of our family in South Africa when we went on our safari. There's pictures of JM and I, going to really fun, exotic countries for our 40th birthday. So it's a collage of all of our adventures. And I ordered a ton. So when we were getting a sign made for our family values, I had to hire Mark, who is amazing, and he actually put it all together. So there's probably about 45 pictures, a big R for Ryerson, and then it has our beautiful wood metal sign that he made that has courage, fun, and love in it. And we put it right on a bare wall that we had. That leads into our kids' rooms. And so every day they pass by it. I don't know if they read it, but I'm hoping that at least it's in the back of their minds. And they definitely look at the pictures, though.
Well, this goes to show how much I know. I thought Mark had done all those tiles. So great job, Mark, putting it together. So let's talk about, courage, fun, and love. I think everybody has an idea of that. But why is it important for family values? Talk about how we employ it with our kids specifically, because I feel like it's made our job so much easier as parents just by having those three values known, the expectations. And so do you kind of have some examples you can share?
Yeah. So we sat down one night at dinner and we talked about what are our family core values. And we came up with courage, fun, and love. So it was voted on. So all four of us had voted on these values. And what's been kind of cool is that when we have two boys, they fight. They don't fight a lot, but they definitely do fight. So if one is not being nice to the other, we can ask them and say, hey, was when you punched your brother in the face, doesn't really happen, but sometimes it does. Was that out of love? Right? And they'll make a joke about it and they'll say, yeah, I love punching him in the face, or, something snarky, but it puts it in perspective on, were my actions in alignment with our family core values? So it's easier for us to call them out and say, hey, you did not abide by these core values that we all agreed upon. Let's check it and let's reset and move forward in a better way.
It is interesting and how much easier it puts things into context real fast. So I did a poor example of this earlier today. I definitely came down on my son quickly because he was frustrating me being a teenager, but had I had my wits about me, I would have said, hey, look, do you see how you are not showing love to, what my respect, my wishes, what I've asked you to do? Instead, of course, I was just a parent. I was angry and said, you do it because I said so. that doesn't usually work as well. And so Lisa kindly removed me and you took care of the situation. But it is when we have our wits about us, it does help to say, do you see how this example is out of alignment with love? Do you see that wasn't fun. Is getting in trouble fun? Well, of course not. Nobody likes to get in trouble. So let's not do that. And then courage speaks for itself. Especially most kids when they're dealing with whether it's middle school or anything, they got to show courage to show up, be themselves, be authentic. So I like to do it in threes rather than 5 or 6 or 7 values. Do you have any feeling around that? You know how important 3 is to me, but I just curious if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, because I think once you get more than 3, it's really hard to remember. Right? 3 is an easy thing to remember. I do a lot of things in 3s now too, because of you. Thank you. And it just keeps it really simple.
Yeah. So the best example I have, our company, Appreciation Financial, we have fun, drive, and love, one of our companies. That's our 3 core values. So at the time, we had 6 core values, and I'm literally on stage presenting. And somebody from the crowd says, "What are they?" And I'm like, so I came up with 5. I literally couldn't think of all 6. I had to have somebody from the crowd finally shout the one that I had missed. I was so smart that day, I decided to add a 7th value. So not only could I not remember the 6, I couldn't remember the 7th value. And it was a really interesting learning moment. That was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago now, where I was like, it's just too much. We literally, myself and some of the executives, had created these values and we couldn't repeat them. How in the world can I expect thousands of people to remember 6 core values? It's impossible. Ever since we went to 3, it's so much easier for people to remember. So whether it's the 3 Amigos, the 3 Musketeers, it's just something that it's easy to remember. I don't know what it is. I've done lots of studying on why 3 is the number, but it just seems to work that way. I want to just, we say core values and it's like, okay, cool. I can buy into having 3 core values. I could maybe buy into my company having values, but this family thing, that just seems odd to me. The kiddos, have they responded pretty well to the core values? Have you seen them actually give examples of our core values?
Yeah. I mean, I see them putting it on each other, which is kind of fun to watch. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but they'll ask each other, was that out of fun? Did you do that out of fun or love? And I do catch them saying that from time to time. I do know that they are very aware of it because I truly believe that they might not treat each other with fun, love, and courage every single day, or us for that matter, but I know that they treat others that way. They definitely have those values inside of them. And I see it when they're interacting with their friends. It's always fun. They're always being courageous and they are always loving to their friends and their peers.
I love that. And you'll notice a theme with me specifically. Fun, I just realized in all the companies and the family values, fun is one of those. So I guess I'm trying to remind myself not to take life too seriously. Have fun. We're not on this earth that long. So specific to Let's Go Win, guys, if you're wondering what those are, it's courage, fun, and transcend. Let's talk about transcend for a second, just because I say at the end of every episode, transcend in life. What does the word transcend mean to you?
Just overcoming your self-limiting beliefs. And that's been a big one for me because I think growing up, it was kind of like, there was expectations to hit certain things, but there always felt like there was kind of a ceiling, in a weird way. It was kind of like, well, you can do up to this, but in order to do that, that's just for other people, right? Like those are pro athletes. Like you're too short, you're not fast enough, or whatever. It could have been a lot of my own self-limiting beliefs as well, but definitely people, would tell me these things, and I'm not that tall, right? I would consider myself pretty short, 5'2", but there are short athletes out there that are pro athletes. And so it's really just overcoming those beliefs that you have or that other people have put onto you and going, you know what? The world can tell me otherwise, but if I truly believe in something, I can do it. I can do whatever I put my mind to. And I know that that's what we instill into our children. I tell them all the time, like, who am I to tell them, especially our oldest, who am I to tell him that he can't be the next Federer, right? Who am I, our youngest son, he's the best. He's hilarious. He sits there and he goes, oh, yeah, we'll see a house on the side of the road. We're driving somewhere and there's like a 17,000 square foot home that we've seen. And he goes, oh, that's it? Oh yeah, my house is going to be 100,000 square feet. I'm like, awesome. You can, mom can live with you. So, we are not here to put self-limiting beliefs on anybody. So I think it's a really important thing to remember.
Well, you just did a video clip for a friend of ours that's got a book coming out, and you talked about this moment that happened. And one of the moments that happened when you came back from, taking care of the kids and got back into the professional workforce was there was a dollar amount for you to hit. Can you talk about that story real quick?
Yeah. So, I was always a go-getter, and I took about 8 years off to be a stay-at-home mom. Hardest job ever, by the way. So all the stay-at-home moms out there, I totally feel your pain. I worked part-time, I think the last 4 years coaching tennis because I was very passionate about that. But when I came back into the field force, I just remember a lot of my girlfriends were making six figures, and this is 6 years ago, almost 7. And I just remember coming to you and saying, gosh, James, do you think I can make six figures this year? And I remember you specifically saying, well, if you don't make six figures, you would have failed, right? And just because you know how I operate, like that put some fire underneath me. Like now I had to make it. And it was just a crazy thing because that first year, I think it was 166,000 I made in that. And it's not about the money, but it proved to me that, gosh, if I work hard and if I truly believe it and have the confidence behind it, it will happen. And then fast forward 2 years later, or maybe it was a little bit longer than that, but 2 years later, I made 100,000 in 1 month. And 7 years ago, I would have never even thought that was possible.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting that there's a number, and it's not about money. It was just an example of one thing that we've seen you go through personally, but there's these limiting things that happen and the hardwires that we have. And this isn't all to just talk about transcending, although I love the subject, so I could talk about it for a while. But for you to have that limit on what you thought you could do, and somebody else just say, well, of course you're going to do that. And then not only you almost doubled that. I think that's what we need to figure out. So when it comes to transcending, just overcoming whatever self-limiting belief, you guys can accomplish anything you put your minds to. Of course, it's going to require hard work. It's not just like, oh, I can have 100,000 square foot home. Well, okay. Yeah, you're going to have to work your tail off, Trey, which, he'll find out later. But I love that you don't put the limiting beliefs on him. All right. Anything else you want to share on core values?
No, I just feel like they're really important. I think it helps like anything that you're doing, whether it's your family, if it's, your company, if you're a part of a company. I think it's the foundation to everything, because if you don't have those core values, then what do you have to stand on,
Yeah, somebody said to me, it's the DNA of your company. Well, it's the DNA of your family. Mm-hmm. And just setting those expectations are so helpful. It's been helpful for us. So if you haven't done it, you guys get together with your core family unit. Get your core values out there. I promise you will not. It may sound like such a corporate thing to do. It's not. You will find a ton of value out of it. Your kids might even use it as a punchline one day, and it's kind of funny to watch. So, I would love to hear core values of families that people share. If you could please send those to us at Let's Go Win 365 on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I nailed them all. I got all the social media accounts. Thank you so much. And in the meantime, you guys continue to rise above those self-limiting beliefs, i.e. transcend in life. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to transcendinlifepodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Transcend in Life podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson, taking you from fear to freedom.